Owners, today we're going to be going over our top running backs, man, going into the 2025 draft. It was supposed to only be 12, right? Well, Jason was brave. He was the Braves owner that decided to put this player in, man. He's my number one target. We talked about values and what, like on my Thursday video? Well, shit, dude. This guy's going to be blowing up the scene. He's got a potential to be a top 5 running back, and he's also has a potential to be a bottom 50 running back. But we'll talk about him at the end of the episode, man, so stick around for that. But hey, we got news and brews, man. I got the brews. We got the news. Sorry I was not here last week, Corian. For some reason, I decided to get married, right when the fucking NFL draft is. I don't know why that was, why that happened, but that's how it happened. So my anniversary is always going to be around there. And yeah, so the cheaper Airbnbs come after spring break. That's a tip for you guys out there. Hey, Jason, we need help, man. This shit needs help. You can tell by I'm talking about Airbnbs, for God's sakes, man. Please tell the public how they can help this show.
Yeah, you guys would go ahead. Please subscribe. Leave a like. Vomit in the comments. We'll take it all. We're also on the radio on the Apple Podcasts and Spotify on the Fantasy Red Zone. We got a Patreon. And we also got a thank you button on all of our videos if you're feeling friendly.
Did you say vomit in the comments?
Vomit in the comments.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from?
My brain.
Did you really?
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once, so half the time I don't know what the shit I'm saying.
I thought you were gonna say fuck. It's like I don't know what the shit I'm saying.
I know
that was perfect.
I edited myself to just a lesser swear.
Less severe. All right, children, the shit.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. I can't multitask. It's difficult.
Vomit in the comments is going to be like, dude, how is that not trademarked by now? Hey, check it out, man. We're the Fantasy Red Zone.
Are we keeping that from now on? Is that
fucking A, dude? Are you kidding me?
Vomit in the comments.
I don't know how you just came up with that, but that's amazing. All right. Anyways, Browns likely out on Nick Chubb. Jason, we're getting to the news and the brews. I might as well. I'm not going to drink while I'm fucking talking. I'm gonna drink while Jason's telling jokes. Anyways, Browns likely out on Nick Chubb, Jason. Since Jerome Ford, they drafted 2 running backs. He looked around. He's like, I'll take a pay cut. So Jerome Ford agreed to a pay cut. So yeah, give me those rookies, man. What round are you taking? Quinyon? Is it Quinyon Judkins?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't like the fact that they went and got another running back.
Like a round later?
I don't know. I guess I really got to think about it. So maybe like round 5.
Yeah, I was thinking 4. Because that's where I like to take risks, and he's not a guaranteed. I'll take like 3 guarantees, and then I'll take Quinyon Judkins. But Jason, your comp was Nick Chubb. That's pretty right. That's pretty awesome that the Cleveland Browns drafted him, right?
Yeah, I lucked out with that.
Oh no, you're all skilled, dude.
Also, get me on there with Mel Kiper, bro. I'm ready for the next NFL draft next year.
Fucking him and Rich Eisen, man. We're not. You know, one thing we're not fucking talking today is goddamn Shedeur Sanders. That's That's the only time you're gonna hear his name. I'll do you a favor, man. All right. Anyways, Jason, I was all about this guy. Who was the quarterback for these people, man? Oh my God, Miami, Tannehill. They traded AJ Brown, right? They drafted with that first round pick. They got Treylon Burks. I was all about Treylon Burks. I thought maybe, and then yeah, dude, Treylon Burks took a fat shit. I think he had like 2 touchdowns in his career, and that was from half of those was from a Derrick Henry fumble in the end zone. So the Titans declined the 5th-year option for Treylon Burke. They drafted Shamir Dyke and Elick Ayomaner in the 4th round. So pay attention to those 2 names. I know they're hard to fucking spell and pronounce, but pay attention to those. With Cam Ward, man, Cam Ward is a pretty goddamn good talent, dude. So that offensive line should be getting better. I like Tony Pollard this year as a value. I like these wide receivers as a value. And Calvin Ridley's kind of hit and miss. So pay attention to the wide receivers they just drafted.
Yeah, you're going to see them in the draft because it's going to look like when your little app is going to look like it's in the Matrix. But no, that's like the actual name. That's just how it's spelled. So
no, my shit's. I need to restart my phone. No, that is how it is spelled.
No, that's their name. 100101. That's how you say it in computers. Dude, my thing is like now it's like I am not quite sure where I want to place Calvin Ridley.
That's
Am I
what,
giving
dude.
up on him? Am I giving up on Ridley?
He hasn't been in the same spot 2 years in a row in forever. You know.
They also picked up, his Cam Ward's wide receiver buddy, Xavier Respecto, Represto? Xavier. They picked him and they signed him in an
Okay, good. Because I went to the draft and I was like, weren't you on that guy, that Respeto guy?
Yeah, they didn't draft him. They signed him an undrafted free agent.
Okay, and I think one of these guys, the last 4th round pick, I think Elick was from Miami as well. So they're surrounding him with familiar
Bring
people.
everybody, bring them all in.
Well, hey guys, I got to lead you. Here's 2 people that I've led before. Fucking tell them about it, guys. All right, tell them how good of a leader I am. Do it. Bills signed Elijah Moore. They also drafted Caden Prather in the 7th round. So they put 0 equity into wide receivers in the draft. Who else do they have, dude? I was like, man, am I missing something? Is it still just, Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman, and Dalton Kincaid? I'm never drafting Dalton Kincaid. So, Jason, would you rather, because I think that Elijah Moore is kind of insurance for the injury-prone Khalil Shakur. But, are you into Keon Coleman this year? Or is he just going to score all of his points via rushing touchdowns?
No. They picked up Jordan Palmer or Joshua Palmer. And I think they were like, they picked
That's
him
like
up.
the Gabe Davis role.
This is the answer to all our problems. We don't need nothing else.
Keon Coleman's super late. I think Keon Coleman's super late, depending on offseason news.
Yes,
is interesting to me.
I am okay with that. If you could get him super late because he's the big target. And
I'm saying like fucking 14. Before I pick a kicker, for God's sakes, I don't think anybody's going to be targeting Keon Coleman anymore. So
right, I'd be taking a chance on that.
Because Khalil Shakur is going to go well ahead for good reason, especially in PPR of Keon Coleman.
Palmer will be the Gabe Davis, where he'll have that one good game, and then you'll think he's injured for the next
76-yard touchdown. Fuck yeah!
Yeah, they under Brady now they run the ball more.
They've got Brady? Oh, wait. Oh, that's right.
No Brady.
I remember that. That's like from 3 years ago. All right, dog. Lastly, George Kittle, 4 years, $76 million contract extension, consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He had 11 touchdowns the season before that with like 700-something yards. So 3 years in a row, fantasy relevance. Would you draft him in the 5th round right now, Jason? Or would you be out and waiting later for like maybe an Evan Ingram or something like that?
Oh, I would try to. If I'm not getting Trey McBride, I'm waiting until Evan Ingram for sure. But George Kittle at a certain discount, like I think he's going to have another great season, especially since Ayuk is going to be gone. Like there's only one person that Purdy is familiar with other than Juwan Jennings. It's going to be George Kittle.
Trey McBride way over Brock Bowers because they just got Beck. They've got Ashon Genty who's going to catch a ton of more balls than the fucking running backs that were doing it before, and they've got Jacoby Myers and now Beck. And Beck I think is pretty badass.
Yeah.
So
he was my closest Cooper Kupp comp.
Yeah, because Brock Bowers was the king of volume last year, except for one game with the fucking Michael Myers. I don't understand that shit, but. So Trey McBride probably or bust is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. That is it. Let me share our rankings, and then we'll go from there, Jason, because we didn't even speak about what we're gonna be. Oh shit, what we're gonna be trying to share or anything. So we're just gonna go. All right, because that's how this show goes. I see your big fucking head right now. Let me see. Am I 98? Probably 98. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, here we go. All right, guys, you're looking at a table. It's probably going to be pitch black for a second, just like that movie. Go check out that Vin Diesel movie. Pitch Black's pretty badass. What's the movie my favorite, dude? With the Necromunders? Necromunders? What is that movie, dude? Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh.
Top 20 movie, dude. Top 20 movie right there for me.
That's a great movie.
I was watching that shit. I wanted to be Vin Diesel for like 10 years, man. I was like, if family, it's all about family. All right.
What did he say? Wait, he's like, I don't feel alive unless I'm driving on that racetrack, quarter mile at a time.
That's a quarter. I live life.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah, I live my life.
I don't feel alive.
I had a wrench and I beat him. And
I remember
beat
when
him
I saw
until
that.
I couldn't lift my arm anymore.
I saw that full of World War II, man, with fucking Tom Hanks. Anyways, all right, Jason, I'm glad because I've been hearing so much about Saquon Barkley being the number 4 running back, the number 5 running back. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I get it. Adrian Peterson, 2,000 yards. Not Calvin Johnson. CJ 2K, 2,000 yards. Eric Dickerson, maybe 2,000 yards. Yeah, 2,000 yards. They all did not do, I think they were top 10 running backs, but not the number 1 running back. Nobody's ever repeated as number 1 running back after 2,000 yards. But nobody had the best offensive line in football, Jason. So, and this team just runs the ball all the time. It doesn't matter. So, the offensive line is so dominant here. It's like the Cowboys from 10 years ago or whatever. Yeah. So, that's my problem there when people talk about shit about Saquon Barkley. How would you defend Saquon Barkley, Jason?
It doesn't really appear that he's slowing down. Last year he was number 1 in carries and rushing. He did his 2,000 rushing yards. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry. First in explosive runs over 10 or more yards. He had 8 touchdowns and 50-yard runs. The guy doesn't seem like he's slowing down, and if he is, his offensive line is so damn good. It doesn't look like he's slowing down, and he's getting it all back. They're going to run it back. So,
my bad. Wait, I fucked up.
What,
I know. And look, Jason, you and I both like rushing yards over attempt. Watch this. Well, rookie, not any. Dude, say Derrick Henry was 1.77. Saquon Barkley. So if you look at, efficiency, what'd you do with what was given to you? So rushing yards over expected. Derrick Henry had 1 point. That's like fucking, that's like 5 feet extra than what he was supposed to get. So somebody stopped him, 5 feet extra. Saquon Barkley was right behind that. And then it goes off, off a tier, almost 2 feet, a foot and a half, to Bucky Irving. But Saquon Barkley, Jason, because I know you and I always talk about rushing yards over expected. So I put it on this chart. I was like, fucking A, dude, Saquon Barkley. That is crazy. And then also what I noticed from this chart as well, from largest to smallest, touches. So people are like, dude, Saquon Barkley had way too many touches. You can't mess with him again. Look at all the players, man, in the same realm. I mean, you can go down to 337. So Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, and Saquon Barkley. So if you're looking at that, man, you're not going to draft any of those guys because of volume. That's an issue for you. You're going to miss out on some shit. And even Jonathan Taylor down the stretch, man, was used like crazy. Yeah. So I was looking at these 2 stats right here, total touches and yards over expected. I still feel comfortable with putting Saquon Barkley, Jason, at number 1.
Yeah, so do I. And you said the stat earlier in the offseason that he landed on the 1 yard line the most out of anybody last year. And, when that happens, you have to give up the touchdown to Jalen Hurts. That's just the way it is.
And the tush push, because they tabled the tush push issue. And if it's not going to pass, they just fucking deny it immediately. If they table it, they're going to try to convince everybody that needs to pass. And then it 75% of the time it passes. So say the tush push isn't in there, Jason. Expect Saquon Barkley. I mean, I still think that they will run a play and be just as successful, but there's a chance that Saquon Barkley gets fucking, way more touchdowns.
Yeah, and he's still on the right side of 32. 30.
Yeah, you know what? I meant to put an age. I meant to put age on here as well. I totally forgot. But yeah, there you go.
Well, he'll be 28 when the season starts.
But he averaged pretty much one more. Oh, that's points per game. Total. I want to see what touches per game. That's what I wanted to do. Oh God, excuse me. But he averaged a little bit over Jonathan Taylor did. Jonathan Taylor got used like a motherfucker, but he didn't play all the games, so you don't notice it. Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, Alvin Kamara. Derrick Henry only 20. But usually what you want for your running back, I was reading this in some analytics and stuff, 20 plus. So a sticky stat for running backs, Jason. 20 plus touches a game, you usually end up as a running back one, and it falls off a tier at Jahmyr Gibbs because of David Montgomery, and that would be even lower had David Montgomery not gotten injured last year. But yeah, Josh Jacobs and up, we're looking good, and this guy is at the top. As far as touches per game, I guarantee Saquon Barkley will have 20 plus touches per game next year. So yeah, I think his floor is the highest of anybody. That's why I put him number one.
And this is a running back that can catch the ball. He just didn't do it last year.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I thought so as well. And his PFF receiving grade, man, was like only 67. And I was like, something's got to be off here. So I don't know what was going on last year, but from what I know about Saquon Barkley, he's a receiving pass catching running back, like you said.
Yeah, if I remember his rookie year, he set the record for the most receiving or the most catches by a running back, like 90.
There you go, dude. So yeah, and then all right, dude. So you have I have Genty below Bijan Robinson, but Bijan Robinson, man, what 21.5 touches per game. I almost guarantee Ashton Genty will have 20 plus touches per game. But I'm really excited about the quarterback, whereas Geno Smith, I'm like, whatever. Where I'm pretty excited about, I was super high on, goddamn, what's his name, Jason? The left-handed quarterback over there in Atlanta?
Big Penix energy?
Oh, Big Penix, dude. So I think that's what puts him over for me is like, I'm excited about that offense. Whereas, like, I know they're going to run the ball a lot. He's going to get his touches, Ashton Genty. But I would put Bijan over Ashton just because I like the Falcons' offense this year with Penix relative to Geno. So what made you put Bijan below Ashton?
I mean, I feel like you could really go either way with this. I'm very excited about Ashton Genty. His draft capital, it pretty much guarantees that he's going to get between like 300 and 350 carries next season. And the fact that, Pete Carroll's now the head coach, and look what he did with Marshawn Lynch. 2 seasons with Marshawn Lynch, he had over 300 rushing attempts. He averaged 16 points a carry. Chip Kelly, he's offensive coordinator.
16 points a carry?
Oh,
God dang.
No, sorry, 16 points per game. Woo! Woo! That's a lot of scoring.
Oh, man, this guy, number one.
When Chip Kelly was offensive coordinator for the Eagles, LaShawn McCoy led the league in rushing and scrimmage yards. And I think the Raiders have like the worst offensive line, but I just don't think that matters with this guy. I think they're going to give him the ball so much, and he's able to break tackles or run around people. He had 0.40 missed tackles forced per attempt last year and 5.3 yards after contact. And he can still catch the ball. So let's say they're behind and they need to start throwing the ball. He had 43 receptions for 500 receiving yards in 2023. So I'm super excited about this guy. I think we differ right now when it also comes to the quarterback. I think Geno Smith is better than Michael Penix right now.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
I mean, I think Penix had one good game last year out of 3, but it's only been 3 games. So let's see what he could do next year. And yeah.
Vikings should have drafted Michael Penix Jr., goddammit. All right, anyways. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at the same tier here. I meant to actually color code this, Jason, for tiers, and I totally forgot about it. I was listening to music, I'm already done. Holy shit. Oh, music. I should have been color coding. Anyways, Jahmyr Gibbs. So he had he ended the season, man, with fucking number 1 in the last 3 games. He had a 40-point game or something in week 18. And David Montgomery did not play the last 3 games, Jason. And so people were talking. A lot of people agreed with me on Reddit because I responded to this post about Ashton Genty being ahead of Gibbs. I would draft Genty ahead of Gibbs just because of a healthy Montgomery coming in this season. And why are you afraid of an old, running back? It's dude, this guy was running back 12 before Gibbs got injured, which does kind of scare me. And it's just, the way they like to play, man, Montgomery around the end zone. Jahmyr Gibbs has to score a long touchdown to score. So, anyways, dude, Jahmyr Gibbs was, I think, the top-rated, he was one of the top-rated runners, dude. You think about him being a receiving running back. His running grade was amazing. Yards over expected, he was like third overall, pretty much, or fourth overall, right behind Bucky Irving. We'll talk about him in a minute. But he had a lot more opportunity, 302. And yeah, Jason, he is super efficient with everything he does. 21.3 points per game with only 302 touches. That's fucking nuts. So do I expect him to be a top 5 running back again? Yes. And his upside is plus of Derrick Henry or something more reliable. So when you're drafting Jahmyr Gibbs over Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, or Jonathan Taylor, I think that you're going for upside.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, it's David Montgomery is the only reason why, because I do think Gibbs has
he'd be number 1 overall. I mean, he'd be number 1 overall if it wasn't for David Montgomery.
I put here in my notes, he could average 25 points per game under the right circumstances, right?
Yeah.
David Montgomery, he was out/injured. I mean, the dude had to get 10 doctors before one finally said, like, yeah, you can go back and play out there, because everyone thought he was going to be out for the season. During that span is when Gibbs actually blew up. He scored 8 out of his 20 total touchdowns between weeks 15 and 18.
Fucking A, Jason. Good job, dude.
That's a huge chunk of his scoring.
And that's David Montgomery's strength is touchdowns. So there you go.
So, I mean, he is a great runner. If he was by himself, I think I would put him probably even above Genty.
I'd put him above. I'd put him above Barkley, dude. If he's by himself,
I would put him number 1.
Yeah, and I really wanted to put Henry above him. I didn't because of upside. Whereas Henry, that's as good of a year as he's going to have was last year. But I do think he could repeat it. So Jason, you and I both have Derrick Henry. Jason, he was the number 1 graded PFF runner. He had the most rushing yards per attempt, man, at 1.77. So he was efficient. He fucking does everything in the last half of the year. We can say that about Gibbs, man, but this is like a trend for Henry. I'm going to pee my pants, Jason. He had just barely fewer touches than Saquon Barkley, so that is a thing to worry about. But hey, dude, until he's not on the Ravens, I'm going to be drafting him top 5.
Yeah, I saw that they did a mock draft with the experts, and he went, I think he was running back 9. You have him as 5. I actually have him as 6. I have Achane in front of him. Let me see. Hold on. What I got going right here? When it comes to Derrick Henry, it's all about the volume back. He has received over 300 rushing attempts in 4 seasons. And each season he did that, he finished in the top 2 in points per game. So all these stats, he was second in carries, second in yards, first in yards per attempt, tied in rushing touchdowns, and he was second in runs of 10-plus yards. All that he was second to. He was behind Saquon Barkley. Elite offensive line, Henry's third best yards before contact, and he was first for yards after contact per attempt. And, it's like what I said with the Eagles. Like, they're getting their players back, and they're just going to run it again.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, I don't think he throws 41 touchdowns without Derrick Henry. So I think he's a very important piece to the Ravens.
He's not a pass catching, and he's not a pass catching running back, Jason. He had the lowest PFF grade out of any of our top running backs.
Yeah, and like for his size, he was actually top 10 in missed tackles forced per touch. I'm like, this dude is just crazy,
Where'd you find that stat, man? I was looking for that all fucking day.
Dude, I will have to just send it to you. I dove deep, man. I don't know where I was. Somewhere on the black market. I think I sold my pinky toe just to get it, dude. It was hard to find. I'll send it to you. The only reason I have Achane in front of Derrick Henry is just because I have to put the age in there. Yes, he didn't look like he was slowing down last year. What if this is the year he slows down? The dude's going to be, I think, 32.
Yeah,
I know he's
They got another decent tackle in the 3rd round, Jason.
I know he's a outlier because this guy is like a generational talent, dude. He's been one of the best running backs for the past 10 years, him and Barkley. Eventually, it's going to happen. We're going to see that wall. I would still feel okay getting him at the 5th running back take or 6th running back taken, but I think I would take Achane over him.
Yeah, and speaking of Achane, Jason, I mean, dude, his rushing grade, he had the highest rushing grade out of any running back last season, right? His rookie season. This year, only 82.8, so one of the lower scores on our list. But he's got one of the highest receiving grades, and he's got more fucking receiving opportunity than anybody I've ever seen, Jason. Like, literally, look at the receiving touchdowns. He led the league in red zone receiving touchdowns, like 8
I know.
red zone receiving touchdowns or something like that. So, with Tua, as long as Tua is quarterback, Achane is going to be catching a ton of fucking touchdowns, man. He's going to be getting a ton of receiving yards. They got rid of Mostert. Still have Jalen Wright. They drafted another running back. I can't remember who. But Achane, man, he is what protects. I mean, I drafted him lower than a couple people, but you drafted him. You ranked him so high. This is where he is for us. But yeah, I'm just thinking like last year, as soon as Tua got injured or whatever, it was a different ball game, man. They did not ever throw deep to Tyreek Hill. It was all short shit to Achane. So in my mind, I'm like, dude, as long as they're protecting Tua, Achane is golden.
Yeah, and there's another reason why I have him so high is because in 2023 he averaged 7.8 yards per carry, and then it dropped in 2024. But then he led the league in receptions for running backs. It's like I want Mike McDaniel to find a way to just.
He's like, is he the best running back?
Yeah.
Is he the best receiving running back? Can you fucking do it both at the same time, man?
It's like they need to make them at the same time, dude, so you can like go nuclear and blow up this league or this fantasy football thing that we do. Hey, they also drafted a guard, Tyler. I don't know if you said that. They drafted a guard in the second round, which is going to help, hopefully, because they were 26 and run block win rate. But I didn't know this until I read it. Do you know Armstead retired?
Dude, I saw that and I remember like I had a rule when I was starting Tua. If Armstead doesn't play, I don't fucking start Tua. So, yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that doesn't help with the offensive line when they struggled last year. I would think they would have attacked it more in the draft, actually. I'm surprised they didn't.
I would have, dude, if I was the Dolphins, I'd draft goddamn 8 or 7 offensive linemen.
I know. So that also makes me think that they're just going to keep doing what they did last year and have Tua do a lot of the short passes to Achane.
And rushing yards over expected, Jason. The lowest by far, negative 0.42. So, like, he literally had the highest. It was like 3.0 last year, dude. It was insane. Like, he doubled everybody's. And now he's like, oh, you know what? I've got to catch passes now, so fuck running. I'm going to suck at it. The worst.
Yeah.
And then, all right, man. Here we go.
Offensive line took a big dump last year. Big dump.
A huge dump. Big turd ward.
Big dump.
Big turd ward. All right, Josh Jacobs. All right, man. I have him 6. You have him 9, 7.5. He's going a 7 right now. So, I mean, I have him as a little bit of a value. You kind of have him a little bit as a void. But yeah, he was in the 17 points per game, but you're banking on his second half of the season where he was over 20. And touches per game, he is the end of a tier. So, again, if you get 20 touches per game or more as a running back, you will more than likely end up as a top 10 running back. So this guy is like, what, the 7th or the 6th running back as far as touches per game goes? It's going to happen to you again. All right, they got 2 more fucking wide receivers. Hopefully something happens in the fucking passing game. And the big deal here, Jason, a great running back grade. I've always known he's an amazing runner because Nick Bosa said he's the best running back he's ever got to go against. But he had the highest receiving grade out of any running back. And remember, heading into last season, he had 0 receiving touchdowns. Yeah, we called it when he had that one week. I haven't checked to see if he had more. I'm pretty sure he did. But Josh Jacobs, I think I would be super happy with him as my running back 1.
I think he only had 1 receiving touchdown on the year.
We called it that week he did it, though.
I mean, don't get me wrong, dude. He is one of the 6 running backs on this list that actually had 300 carries last year. That's amazing. That's what you want. And ended up 6 in rushing, 4th in touchdowns, 5 in red zone touches, and 14 goal line carries. He was also 10th in missed tackles forced per attempt. That's great. He benefited from a lack of a passing game last year. They couldn't throw the ball. So they relied on him, and he did well. Now I have concerns just because the Packers went out and they got 2 wide receivers. So I feel like now they really want to focus on getting that passing game up and going again.
Look, listen, when there was no tape on Jordan Love, he did it awesome. When there was tape on Jordan Love, not quite the same. So remember that, all right? We were down on Jordan Love for a while. I don't think he's Aaron Rodgers, and he's not fucking Brett Favre either. So I think he may have had his best season already. I will eat my words later because I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm sorry they're out there. Heading into the, but I'm just saying, there's a world where Jordan Love is not as good as we thought. No wide receivers do well for the Packers, and it's still just Josh Jacobs. So I would invest in Josh Jacobs. Then Jonathan Taylor, Jason, his biggest strength, touches per game, Jason. He was number 2 with 22.9 touches per game. Holy fuck, dude. That's barely behind Saquon Barkley. So Shane Steichen offense, he was efficient with those touches, man. I mean, 0.61 rushing yards over expected per attempt. That's not bad. I don't know why he didn't have a rush. He did not have a grade run or a receiving grade on PFF. I don't know why that was. But still, everything I see about Jonathan Taylor, I kind of like. If I can get him as my running back 1, like late first, early second.
He only had 18 receptions last year.
You're not getting him to catch passes from AR, dog.
No. I think the best thing that happened with this guy is that how he was on fire last year between weeks 13 and 18. Average, what do I put here? 24 points a game, over 20 carries 10 times last year with 2 games over 30 carries, 8 games over 15 points in PPR, and he only played 14 games. So, but hey, they went out. The Colts went out. They drafted a 6'8", 304-pounder who didn't allow a sack at the tackle position, at the left tackle position. I mean, so they're beefing up the offensive line. They're going to get even better because they were already 4th in run block win rate last year. So it's crazy how to really judge all this. I would actually put him in front of Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry is way more durable than Jonathan Taylor. And what the hell is going what's going on out there for the Colts? I cannot figure out their offense and what Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, I don't know.
Hey, man.
I do know he is going to be the only back again who's going to get majority of the carries. That's why I have him number 7. He is a good back, but
I still think Shane Steichen's an elite offensive coordinator. So
he is, but he's on the hot seat.
How tall was Mike Freeze, Jason? We went to high school with him, played some disc golf. Was he 6'7"?
I think he was like 6'7". I think he was 6'7".
God damn, he should have went to the NFL. It's like 6'8" is so fucking big for a fucking offensive lineman. Whatever. All right, dog. Kyren Williams. I've got him 7. You have him 11. Are you just? So he was 0 in rushing yards over expected per attempt, which means like he takes what you give him, Jason. Like he's in a great system. He's well loved. He has the highest usage, the highest red zone usage. I mean, he catches a ton of passes. Again, like I'll say it, when you go against Kyren Williams, you fucking know it because you're watching that game and he gets the ball all the time. But you have him ranked as barely a running back 1. You have Chase Brown, you got Bucky Irving ahead of him. What kind of gives you pause on Kyren Williams?
You said it. He was first in red zone touches last year. He had 12 goal line carries. His offensive line was actually what?
2 fewer touches than Saquon Barkley, the second most in the league.
His offensive line was 3rd in running back or rushing yards before contact, which is great. And they were 12th in run block win rate. That's awesome. But for some reason, his yards per carry dropped to 33rd overall. So that kind of gives me a little bit of a scare. I went to go try to figure out why. What happened? What happened to the Kyren Williams that we love, right? Do you remember in 2023, like he only saw 8 men in the box like 4% of the time, which is a ridiculous.
It was literally 5% of the time, which was like 10% less than anybody else.
Yeah, it was the lowest. Well, that increased. That increased a lot. And I think it's because defenses were not as afraid as Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua They also they missed a lot of time last year, those 2 wide receivers. Like, if you're not afraid of the passing game, you can kind of load up that box. So I do think it might improve next year because they are bringing back Devontae Adams. But, dude, this is the biggest scare right here, man. I don't see – he had 316 rushes last year. I don't think he's going to get that again. Back-to-back seasons, the Rams had drafted a running back. And I don't get it. I don't know why. I still think he's going to get the red zone touches, and he's going to be the goal line back. They drafted a 4th-round running back from Auburn, Jarquez Hunter. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Last year you got Blake Corum, now you got this guy. So there's like
4th round, 4th.
Yeah, they got him in the 4th round. So I don't understand why they're doing back-to-back seasons of getting a running back. So my theory is just he's not going to get 316 carries again. So I feel like that's going to drop. It's going to be under 300, and that's why I have him ranked wherever I have him ranked, like 11 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because I was just like, dude, I know that Sean McVay loves Kyren Williams. They love each other. All right, so I went into the Rams Insiders. I went to the Rams Reddit. I went to a bunch of stupid shit, and everybody's like, dude, Kyren Williams is fucking like until he dies. He's going to be getting all the touches from Sean McVay.
I hope so. I really hope that's it. And he just wasted draft picks on these running backs that he's never going to use. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, and I mean, he went like number 10 overall. I think he went number like 10 or 11 overall last year. Now he's going to be going a little bit later. So I kind of like getting Kyren Williams as my – you go running back, and have Kyren as your second running back. That's fucking nuts. So
yeah, he'll get double-digit touchdowns again.
Yeah. I mean, in the end zone, he's insane.
Yeah.
And then Jason, Bucky Irving, you were the Bucky Irving owner. You traded Jalen Reed for Bucky Irving early in the season, and he was the 3rd most efficient running back, pretty much out of our top running backs, as far as rushing yards over expected per carry. And he was in the top 5. I think he was running back 5 over the last half of the season. An amazing 90.0 PFF grade as a rookie. That's fucking nuts. Receiving, he sucks. Rachaad White had to fill in a lot there. But that offense just relies so much on receiving running backs. He's going to have to get better, or he'll at least get some opportunity. And his touches per game was the lowest by far of anybody, but he was up there in the high teens later in the season. So Jason, Bucky Irving's going to be a top 10 running back next season. I have him as 10. You have him as 8. I feel like the floor is a little bit higher with Kyren and Josh and Jonathan Taylor. That's the only reason I have him ranked just below them.
Yeah, this guy he reminds me of, for how efficient he is as a pass catcher and a runner, he reminds me of Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm saying that because I think he's the only other running back on this list that has to share a backfield. So that's a good.
Well, Chase Brown. No, you're right. Chase Brown did it without sharing a backfield. So you're right.
So that's like the main reason why I'm not even pushing this guy even higher is because he only had 205 rushes last year, and I don't see that going over like 250 with Rachaad White. Rachaad White had 144 carries, and he's heavily involved in the passing game. He had 51 receptions last year, so he's going to be on the field as much as Bucky Irving. So that's kind of the downside of Bucky Irving. But the Buccaneers, they have the 6th best running back rushing yards before contact, and they were 6th in run block win rate. So they have an elite offensive line right now. Behind that offensive line, Bucky Irving, he was 3rd in missed tackles forced per touch. He was 4th in rushing yards, 11th in 10-plus yards rush. I expect that to actually go higher next year. He was 1st in yards after contact, which is kind of crazy to believe. And the whole thing is like he didn't get the starting role until week 6. So next season, when he's actually going to start week 1 as the starter, I expect all those numbers to go up.
Yeah. So Bucky Irving, man, we liked his pure runner before the season started, and it ended up being better than we ever thought. I did not like Rachaad White, or did I like Rachaad White? I can't remember. Anyways, we'll talk about something else. All right, man, I want to get to this real fast. Chase Brown, I had him added to my list. I really wanted to put Chase Brown, man, because I was just talking about him as value. He was my number 1 value target in the draft. And I was like, dude, I remember ranking him in the top 5 for like half of the season, Jason. But then I started doing some research and I was like, dude, they brought back fucking Samaje P. Ryan. Zach Moss is back, and then they drafted somebody else in the 5th round, which he himself, Chase Brown's only a 5th round draft pick, Jason. I thought he was a 2nd round or 3rd round. So, not a lot of draft capital. Not a lot of draft capital. All right. And they've got several running backs that have produced for them before, Jason. So I'm a little scared, but Chase Brown was amazing last year. Maybe I'm missing out on something. I mean, I'm not really sure. So how do you feel about, I mean, I know you like Chase Brown, but everything I just said, like with all that competing running backs, do you think that's going to play a factor at all? Are you comfortable with him as your number 1 running back?
I think I am, because I don't really think – I think he showed last year, even with Zach Moss, and, they even traded for Khalil Herbert. He never got on the field.
Right.
That he's going to win that competition and be the number 1 running back and get most of the snaps. My whole thing is like, I am so in on the Bengals offense for next year. And even if it's like Chase Brown, who didn't have great running metrics last year, just be aware of that. But the 2 metrics that he did well in that I love is that he was 11th in red zone touches and 10th, and he had 10 goal line carries. I love that for a running back. But it was his receiving metrics, dude. In the receiving game, he killed it.
And that's what he was known for, even before when I knew about him. But he's big and he's fast, so I mean, he makes sense as a regular running back as well. And Jason, you talk about the Bengals offense. I think they invested in 2 offensive linemen relatively early. Joe Burrow threw for fucking 60 touchdowns, man, his last year in college. They were showing metrics of everybody else, 32 touchdowns. Oh, this guy threw for 30-something touchdowns, like Cam Ward. Joe Burrow threw for 60, and then he comes in the NFL and he's killing it too. So Joe Burrow's going to get nothing but better, all right? There's going to be a lot of fucking opportunities here. And if they get that offensive line right, oh my God, Jason. So yeah, Chase Brown, his ceiling is top 3. His floor right now, I think he'd be a high-end running back 2 for you in the floor. But yeah, I was just a little bit hesitant to put him over guaranteed number 1s. That's all. Because of the competition this year.
Yeah.
And then, hey, man, you and I I'm glad that you ranked Christian McCaffrey so low. You ranked him number 12 overall. I would not want him as my running back 1, but if you're just thinking hey, dude, depending on how the offseason goes, if he's involved in everything, yeah, I guess I would take him at the end of the 1st, 2nd round, and have him as my running back 1. So Christian McCaffrey, just because his ceiling is top 5 running back, his floor is a bottom 50 fucking running back. So that's the problem there, Jason, is his floor is lower than anybody else's.
Yeah, this is at this spot you are rolling the dice. I don't think he would go in the 2nd round as running back 12. I'm thinking more of running back round 3. And at round 3, I'm like, if I went running back, wide receiver, or wide receiver, running back, I'm getting Christian McCaffrey. If I'm rolling the dice on Christian McCaffrey in the 3rd round, I think I might do it because, we know what he's capable of. We saw what he did in 2022, 2023. He's not a volume guy. I think his highest rushes count is 272 rushes. But we don't get him for the volume. We get him for his effectiveness in the rushing game, the goal line carries. He's a beast in the receiving game, and he's in a Kyle Shanahan offense. So even if I'm not drafting him at the first.
Who did they draft, Jason? You say sorry when you say Shanahan offense. I was like, man, they drafted a running back late, so you better watch out.
They did the same thing last year. They did the same thing the year before that.
The year before
that. I that's what I'm trying to say right now. So even though let's say they do use this Jordan James in the 5th round, who they drafted. I'm not getting Chris McCaffrey at the 1st overall pick, hoping that he gets 275, 300 touches. I'm getting him in round 3, and hoping that his rubber band ankles stay together and at least get 230 rushes with 50 receptions and what he could do at the goal line and what he can do with the ball. It's pretty crazy. I know, like I said, I know it's rolling the dice because of his injuries, but if he can stay healthy, I think there's a chance that you could get number 1, number 2 running back in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and that is like upside that you desire. I like that in the 4th round. That's when I wanted to take Devon Achane that year, and you got him before me.
Yeah.
But you know, I usually like to take my risks on the 4th round, so I'd probably be going more guaranteed. But yeah, Jason, damn it, you just said something I wanted to comment on, and I totally forgot. Whatever, dude, doesn't matter.
Running backs.
Anyways, what'd you say?
Running backs.
Yeah, it was on the running backs, but like
No, I mean, I'm trying to think. What did I say?
Oh, it doesn't
Rubber
matter.
band ankles.
Oh, remember there was a report on the fucking he had arthritis in both of his Achilles.
I know.
So,
What the hell
so
is
when the
that?
fuck did that? Is that? And then they're like, it's uncurable. And now I'm drafting him, you know, like as my running back 1. That sounds fucking nuts. So I have an issue with Christian McCaffrey. I'm not going to pull the trigger on him probably, but I have to rank him as realistically. So realistically, he could be number 1 running back for you. So I got to put him there. And then you get into like Alvin Kamara, Jason. I just put him as ranked 13 for you. I had him ranked 11. So, I mean, his ADP right now, in 2025 is 13. So people agree with you. I have him ranked a little bit ahead of that.
Dude, I have him as running back 18 right now.
There you go. But like I'm just saying, dude, 19 points per game, Jason. I mean, you look at everybody. That is fucking elite. I mean, once you get to 19, you're looking at Derrick Henry and Gibbs and shit. So like, I get that, but then you look at his efficiency. He is kind of like a Devon Achane as far as efficiencies. Negative. He's in the negative. Rushing yards over expected, and his PFF grade kind of sucks too. But dude, he just had so much opportunity. That shit was insane. 21.1 touches per game. So if you can find a running back that late that gets you 21 touches per game, dude, I don't know how you take him, how you don't take him. And now you have a Kellen Moore offense. Who the fuck did Kellen Moore coach last year, Jason?
Saquon Barkley.
So, yeah, the more I think about Alvin Kamara, the more I can talk myself into him. And they got Shuck, you know, so which is Greg Cosell thought it was like the second best film he saw. Yeah, so I kind of like grabbing Alvin Kamara in like the 4th round or 3rd round or something like that.
Yeah, my thing though is that the Saints' offensive line sucks.
It does. He's going to catch he's going to get 11 targets a game.
His running metrics suck. Saquon Barkley had a great offensive line with great running metrics.
You're right. Yeah,
Remember,
right.
Barkley only had like 30 receptions last year, and Kamara lives off of receptions. He had 68.
He had 30 receptions in 2 games.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, but there's with Kellen Moore, with a rookie quarterback. Possibly.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So like, Kellen Moore's offense doesn't predicate on the running back catching a lot of balls.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we saw last year.
That makes sense. I'm not going to change my mind, though, fucker. I'm still keeping Alvin Kamara.
Dude, I do think he's going to get receptions again. That's what he's known for. I don't know if he's going to match. Actually, dude, he might actually match like 60, 68 because they're not going to run the ball, and they're going to be trailing a lot, the Saints.
Fucking Olave's got he gets 1 concussion. He's done for the year, so it's like.
Yeah. He's going to have 400 yards rushing and 800 yards receiving.
But and around the end zone, he's amazing as well. So I like all that. And then the new Kamara, Jason, is R.J. Harvey, right? I think it's R.J. Harvey. So
for the Broncos, I think everyone's going to be trying to target that guy.
Yeah, and we have Omarion Hampton, you know, almost breaking in the top 12. But anyways, that is the show, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Those were the top 12, 13. So all the running back 1s that we can think of for your team. Kind of broke it down for you, gave you a lot of good stats that we like to look at. You know, Jason, these are the stats that we like to look at.
I like looking at those stats.
I like to look at them. I like to stay up until midnight just fucking staring at them until I get cross-eyed. Anyways, I'll stop sharing right now so you can look at our fucking fat heads. Stop sharing. Woo! Jason, I like that Cowboys helmet. What's the degrees in there? It looks like it's 70 degrees in your house, huh? In your garage, huh?
It's like 74, and I'm sweating ball sacks out here. I'm just sweating the ball sacks.
Hey, if we have running backs that we did not mention, please comment down below, man, because there was a lot of running back depth this year, all right? There's going to be a lot of opinion on running backs. And Corion, again, dude, I'm saying, like, there are so many running backs I wouldn't mind starting for my team. Part of me wants to wait on running backs, Jason. You know what I'm saying? Because the running back depth is pretty nice. this season in particular.
Especially after a draft like this rookie draft, yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like a lot of shit that I like. So, I mean, there's like 5 rookie running backs in my top 36 that just got injected into the league. So it's going to be tough to wait. Or it's going to be tough not to wait. But we'll see, Corion, out there. And hell no, I'm not going to get your trophy ready. And remember, if you comment, the more you comment, the more you'll be in the listener league. So please comment down below. Jason, send us out.
Yeah, I wanted to say this stat real quick before I passed on or went on.
Oh, you're going to die? What's going to happen, Jason? You're going to pass on to the next
Robinson. Bijan Robinson, he had a lot of volume last year, which created 10 games over 20 points. That was actually more than Saquon Barkley and Jahmyr Gibbs last year. So I just wanted to say that I really like that.
Bijan, I think he's my number 2 or number. Yeah, I have him over Ashton Genty, Jason. So Bijan to me, I got to go with the guaranteed thing. I know where the Falcons are going. I have a hunch where the Raiders are going, but until I see it, I will not believe it. All right.
But okay, we'll be back here next Friday. Come have a little chat with us, drink some brewskis. Shit, I just hit my laptop. Yeah, we'll be here 6 o'clock, same time, same channel. I'll talk to you then. Deuces.
This is the Fantasy Red Zone. This is Tyler, Big Turd War, Jason, the Lucky Bastard of the Wolf, and we appreciate you.